What's up, boppers? So I'd like to clarify a couple of things. First of all, my reaction to my gang stalkers when I shake, when I'm out in public, is not PTSD. I was actually screened for that before I got the Addison's diagnosis, just to see if that was what was going on. And I don't have any of the indicators of PTSD at all. Ironically enough, considering everything I've been through, I was surprised as well, as some of you might be. But being an empath and being in a situation where you have gang stalkers around you at all times, my body will react before I even know what's going on cognitively. A lot of the time. It's become my Addison's, which I felt was a curse for so long, is actually a blessing in a lot of ways because it's an internal alarm system. So my fight, it affects my adrenal glands, and that controls your fight or flight response. So that response will be activated before I even know what's going on 9 times out of 10. So it's like I said, it's like an alarm system. And when I'm around someone, I could pick up their energy and my body reacts. So if I'm shaking and uncomfortable around someone, it's probably because they're bad news. Now, there are upsides to being an empath because it's extremely inconvenient to have that reaction, to say the least. And but like I said, I need to look at it like it's a blessing in a lot of ways, because it is. Because my body can pick up if you're full of shit before my mind figures it out. But the cool part about being an empath is the way animals react to me. So that's really cool. And little kids tend to like me. Old people tend to like me a lot. As long as they're not old fucking narkies, right? Because those exist. Just because someone's an old lady doesn't mean they're a sweet old lady or a sweet old man. They could just be a really old fucking narcissist. But you get what I'm saying. So I'm not ever afraid of anyone. Ever. But my fight or flight response goes off when I'm around people that are evil, that are bad news. And, that's what happens. Another thing I wanted to touch on, too, was my feet. Now, I had my bones tested. I have slight osteopenia, but I'm 50 years old, and I've been taking corticosteroids for a few years now. So, that's par for the course, and that's not a big deal. And I was tested just after getting diagnosed with Addison's disease. So I went a lot of years with a severe vitamin D deficiency from having undiagnosed Hashimoto's disease. So this slight osteopenia, which is just a little thinning of the bones, is not a big deal. Okay? I don't have osteoporosis, or not even close. And I wouldn't be surprised if I have since reversed the osteopenia. But one day, I'd gotten up, this was a few years ago, I'd gotten up out of bed, I was walking in the hallway, I stepped down and felt the most incredible pain in my foot. And I looked down, and immediately my toe started to turn purple. So just from stepping down on the floor, I broke my toe, which I attribute to the use of DEWs, directed energy weapons. Because of the way I sleep, the direction of my sleep, and where these gang stalkers are all, they're all hived up together in these fucking apartments across the street, mostly. Not all of my neighbors are in that, or my gang stalking neighbors are in that apartment building, but there are some there. They are there. And so they aim these weapons at my feet just because of the location and how I sleep. And that's usually when they hit us with this shit, is when we're sleeping. We're in one spot, and it makes sense, right? It's practical. So what that did was deteriorate the bones in my toes. So 2 of my toes are just completely useless. They're just disintegrated. So it's difficult to walk barefoot. Near impossible unless I walk on my heels or I walk on the outside of my feet. So I have to walk around my home with shoes on all the time. So, that's that. I just wanted to get that shit out there.